Hello everyone and welcome back to the James Rambling Show, coming at you live on Friday night. Tonight's your host, James Bay.
Hello, welcome back to the James Rambling Show. This is another episode, and today we have a very special guest. It has been a while since he came here to the podcast. So, would you like to introduce yourself once again?
Yes, hello James, I'm TeamTMS of course, well Tom Dunkins you can call me, and yeah, it's been about late January I think was the last time I was on the podcast, so yeah, it's good to be back. I think, am I correct when I say this? I am the first guest to have been on the podcast twice, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct indeed.
So that's something to be proud of, I guess, a pioneer for the James Rambling Show.
Yeah, I suppose you were the first person to get this ball rolling.
Yes, I am. Yeah, and by the way, while I'm boasting, my video that I was on is currently, is it the most popular video of your channel? It's got 57 views or something, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, that's correct.
So that's something also to be proud of.
Yeah.
And we're also going to have a very happy person when this podcast comes out, by the name of a Proctor Flecticus, or Macman, I should say. We won't disclose his real name, because you know what could happen there.
Yeah. So we're actually going to be talking about sitcoms today.
Yes, we will, because you know me, James, I'm a very big fan of sitcoms. Whenever I'm watching a TV show, it's a sitcom. It's not a, loony drama show or a soap opera or anything like that. It's always a sitcom. The last non-sitcom I've watched was probably Squid Game. So that was quite a while ago, half a year ago, pretty much.
Yeah. So I'm very sure that I think I covered Seinfeld before on the podcast, but I've not done it in a while, and I just did it because
you've sort of just mentioned Seinfeld. You've said it's a really great show. You haven't really gone too much into it. But yeah, guys, so as you can see at my S tier, we have Seinfeld, Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Impractical Jokers. So there's my S tier for you. These are three of my very best sitcoms. Well, Impractical Jokers isn't really a sitcom, it's more of a just comedy TV show, hidden camera show. But it's still deserving of the S tier, really, in my opinion. And then I'll just go... What?
Could you explain what Impractical Jokers is about for the viewers that don't know?
Well, yeah, it's basically there's four, well, there was four, it's three now, so there's three main characters. There's Joe, oh no, Joe actually left, he was the fourth one. It's Murr, Sal, and Q are the three main characters of the show, and basically they go around and prank random people of the public. So the people of the public don't actually know they're being recorded or it's a TV show or whatever. So yeah, they basically just humiliate themselves in front of the public, and it is very, very funny. It's just one of those shows that are actually funny, that make you laugh, and you're not just sitting there. You don't just think it's funny, you actually laugh from the show, you know? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
You actually LOL, you laugh out loud from the show. It's just one of those shows, it's just funny. And I actually would have added, I'm not sure if you've really seen this show a lot, James, but I would have actually maybe added the Eric Andre show to the S tier. But I only recently started watching that show, so... Because I made this tier list at, about a month ago, and then I started watching the Eric Andre show about 10 days ago or something, so I would have probably added it to the S tier. Because it's just like Impractical Jokers, it's just one of those shows that makes you laugh out loud. You know?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on my S rating tier, James? Do you agree that Seinfeld, Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Impractical Jokers deserve the S tier?
Well, I really do think that Seinfeld deserves to be up there.
Oh
It's a
yeah,
very
definitely.
interesting series.
Definitely.
It's funny. There's charismatic characters.
Yep.
As for Curb Your Enthusiasm, I'm not too sure because I've not seen as much of that as Seinfeld.
It's one of those shows that you have to watch probably at least 5 episodes just to really get the hang of it, and it's the same thing as Seinfeld. Like, I know you took a while to sort of get into Seinfeld, you know? So Curb Your Enthusiasm is sort of the same deal. You have to watch it a bit to actually get into it. It's not just one of those shows that you instantly sort of like sort of Squid Game was, really.
Yeah, true. And as for the Impractical Jokers series, well, that's actually pretty decent, and I think the execution of the way they do it and everything, it's done well.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
It just really makes you laugh.
Yeah, it's not like those cringy prank videos you see on YouTube these days. It's just
definitely not. Like, there's nothing cringe about the show. Like, you can re-watch parts of that show just, like, heaps of times, you know, because it just never really gets old, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's just some of the things that those four guys get into in front of the public is just so humiliating. Like, you wonder how they do it. Like, there's just no way I would go out in public and do that kind of stuff. Like, it is just so crazy.
Yeah.
4 crazy people, well, 3 I should say, since Joe left, which is a bit of a shame. But, and while I'm speaking of Eric Andre, he was actually a guest on Impractical Jokers in season 10. Because it is on season 10 at the moment, Impractical Jokers. New season airing now. Not a sponsor, by the way, just saying.
Yeah, we're not sponsored by them.
Yeah, we don't have any sponsors at the moment, but if anyone's watching this, Manscaped, Honey, NordVPN watching this video, just hit James up.
So, I can see that you've got, like, Friends and Big Bang Theory at the bottom of the tier, or close to the bottom of the tier.
Yes.
Do you want to run down as to why you think this?
Yeah, I have never really been a big fan of Friends at all. Like, I did force myself to watch like 2 seasons of Friends, but it just never really caught on. I never really liked it. There were just I don't think throughout the whole time I watched Friends, I just never laughed. Like, you can see how people thought that there were things in it that were funny, but to me, I just didn't laugh from it. It was just not my type. There was one character, Ross, in the show, which I thought was kind of funny. Like, one of the main characters. There's actually 6 or something main characters in the show, unlike Seinfeld with only 4. But Ross he could be pretty funny, but yeah, just nowhere near as good as Seinfeld, you know.
Yeah.
Along with Superstore, which is why I put that as D tier. It's just nothing funny about it, and there were some woke aspects of it, and I don't want to go too into politics, but yeah, they've got, like, for example, they've got a disabled black guy as the cool guy of the show, sort of like Kramer is on Seinfeld. Which, I mean, I see where they were going with that, but it just sort of ruins the show a bit with the sort of wokeness of it, you know. So that's my opinion on Superstore, because I think that was made in like 2013 or something. So what can you expect? Well, probably even later than that, actually, like 2016, I think, maybe.
I've not really seen Superstore before.
Yeah, it is on Netflix. There's like 5 seasons, I think. I don't know. I haven't gone too much into it.
Yeah,
I watched it like 2 years ago.
And with friends, not just saying this because you said it, but I sort of had a similar experience where the only time I'd laugh at Friends was like probably just once or not at all.
Yeah, that's true. Because there's just no funny moments. Like a sitcom is meant to be a situational comedy, and like there's just no situations that they're put in. It's just like there's nothing in the show that makes you laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, and if we're talking about like Big Bang Theory, I remember actually being obsessed with it, and then I realized like back in 2020 or 2021, I rewatched it, and I came to the realization that I probably couldn't even get through season 2 of that series.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really gone too much into the Big Bang Theory. I've seen like 5 episodes probably, but yeah, from what I've seen, it's just not the funniest show. But I mean, what's the main character called? That nerd guy, that tallish Sheldon. That's right. Yeah, he was pretty funny at times, but yeah, just really not my thing. I don't think it deserved D tier, but yeah, just not my type of show. Sort of nerd, like Chicken McNerd Face will probably like that show. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. we won't go into that.
Yeah, we won't go into that. That's he might rage a little bit, as he does. He won't talk to us for a few months.
So I see that you have like what about the B tier sitcoms?
Well, Modern Family. Have you seen any Modern Family, James?
I've seen some of it, but not like all of it.
Yeah, I have actually seen quite a bit of that show because my brother, Lil Bo Pete, is actually quite into that show, so usually when he's watching TV, well, not usually, but sometimes when he's watching TV, Modern Family is what he's watching, so I've just seen parts of it from when he's watching TV, Modern Family, and there are actually some pretty funny moments in it. There are some funny characters in it, like let's see, there's Phil Dunphy. He's a pretty funny character. So yeah, there are some pretty funny moments in that show. So I don't think it deserved any lower than B for that one.
Yeah,
it is a pretty solid TV show. There's quite a few seasons too, like 9 seasons or something.
Yeah, it's just about families and different families.
Well, no, not really. I mean, there's one family in the show. Well, one family, as in like extended family, sort of. So like three sort of, circles. I'm not sure how to put that, but you know what I mean. 3 sort of subdivisions of an extended family. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's B tier, and I have seen a little bit of the middle. Pretty solid show. Sort of like Modern Family. It's about a family, really. It's a family sitcom. Pretty deserving of the D tier.
Yeah, I've not actually seen that series before.
Yeah, it's not as popular as like Modern Family and all that, but it is a pretty solid TV show, really. But I didn't mention in the C tier. There's also Parks and Recreation, which, I mean, I don't think it was too bad. Definitely not as bad as Friends. But just really, it's the same story, just not that funny. Like, there were a few times when I sort of laughed a bit. I didn't laugh too much like I did with Seinfeld or Impractical Jokers, but yeah, just really not the funniest show. And Brooklyn Nine-Nine as well, it's the same story. I won't go too much into that, but yeah, my brother also watches that show too, so I just sort of watch it while he's watching that on TV. So yeah.
Like with the other series, I've not really seen that much of Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, it is another Netflix thing, so pretty
Yeah,
popular, really.
I know that Chris Pratt's in it and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm really not too. Yeah, actually, yeah, I do know who Chris Pratt is. He's been in a few movies. Pretty good actor.
Yeah. He was in like the Lego movie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or he voice acted the Lego movie, I should say.
Yeah, he's done quite a bit of voice acting, I think.
There's The Office, which I can see that's on the tier list.
What?
The Office.
Oh yeah, The Office. The Office was actually funny. Like, I did laugh quite a bit from that show because it had a lot of character, that show. Like, you wouldn't see that type of character anywhere else, and I think that's what Seinfeld is, well, sort of is lacking for the first couple of seasons. Because The Office really hit it off for the first sort of couple of seasons with just, you know, hitting that character sort of aspect of things. Like, they've got Steve Carell. Have you heard of Steve Carell?
Yeah, Steve Carell.
Oh,
Yeah.
Steve Carell. Not really sure how to pronounce him,
Yeah,
but
it's fine. It's
yeah.
fine.
So he was acting as oh gosh, what's his name? What's the main character's name? Oh, I can't even remember. It was it was quite a while since I've watched it, like 2 years ago now, I think. So I'm not really sure of all the characters' names. But yeah, so there's Steve Carell. There's Dwight also. I'm not too sure who's acting as him, but so Dwight also is a very funny character, and but you know what? This is bugging me. Hang on, I'm gonna find out who is Steve Carell acting as. Hang on, The Office cast. Oh, Michael, of course. How did I forget that? Michael Scott. I don't know how I forgot his name, but yeah, Steve Carell was Michael Scott, and he was a very good actor. Some very good acting in The Office, which also Seinfeld didn't really have. Like, they didn't really have the best actors, if I must say. Like, they did actually get the producers of the show to act in some parts of Seinfeld, and they also actually just got some like random people off the street to act in the show, because they just weren't that into like the acting whole sector of the show. They were really just focusing more on the comedy sort of side of things and not the acting. And it's a different story with The Office. I mean, they sort of got more better actors and went through that whole process of finding the best actors they could, rather than the funnier side of things, the comedy of it, you know?
Yeah.
So Seinfeld wasn't really that great with its whole acting sort of thing.
I don't really know that much about the behind the scenes of Seinfeld.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you're only on what episode are you on? Like season 3, episode what?
Season 5, episode 9 or something.
Oh, season 5, episode 9. Oh, okay. So yeah, I understand why you wouldn't know too much about the behind the scenes, but I have read up on quite a bit of behind the scenes in Seinfeld, and it is quite interesting. I believe you got a book for your birthday, didn't you, about Seinfeld?
Yeah, the little guide to Seinfeld.
Yeah, so that should contain quite a bit of sort of information about how the show was created and all that. Because I mean, actually, while I'm on the topic of actors on Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld isn't actually like an actor. Like, he was never an actor. He was a comedian, but he never saw himself as an actor. You know. Like, he's not, like, in the show you can see that he's not actually the best actor. Like, you can just see his, like, facial expressions, like, when he's meant to be laughing, like, you can just see that it's acting, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's just nothing really real about it, but, I mean, actors like Michael Richards for Kramer are pretty good. I mean, he was never really an actor before the show either. He was also a comedian, I believe, but he just sort of had that talent as an actor, so that was lucky.
Yeah.
Along with George
Yeah.
Costanza and Elaine Bennis and all that.
Yeah, but the thing with Kramer's actor or Michael Richards or whatever, yeah,
Yep.
he got into some heat not a few years ago, like a while back.
Yes,
More
he
than a few
did.
years.
He did, so that was a very sad sight to see. He actually,
Yeah.
I don't want to go too deep into that because that does get a little bit, political, but yeah, he did rage at a particular group of people, and let's just say he didn't do a lot of acting since. His career sort of went, let's just say, downhill after that. But you guys can look that up if you want, but yeah, we won't go too much into that. There was a very
Yeah.
tragic story for Michael Richards. Richards, I should say.
Yeah. Not too sure about the actor for George Costanza. Like, has he actually been in any other TV shows or anything like that?
Well, not really, because he's actually a Broadway actor, that guy. What's his name? Jason Alexander, his name is. He's actually a Broadway sort of actor. He was never really actually a comedian. He was just Broadway pretty much. And so of course he was approached by Jerry Seinfeld, and then there you go.
Yeah, I've only seen, like, on the topic of like Broadway stuff, I think I've only seen like the Hamilton Broadway musical thing. It's just about like American history and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really too into Broadway and plays and all that. Of course, I have heard of Hamilton, but never really watched it. And there's also Cats. Have you heard of Cats?
I never seen it, but like I seen like I don't know if it was the CGI or it was the way they did the costume design, but it was just laughably bad.
Yeah, I've heard it. I've heard that it's very bad, so I didn't really bother watching it. It's just one of those musicals. I'm not really into musicals at all.
Yeah, I don't think I am. I'm that into musicals. I mean, I did watch like.
Did
Romeo
you
and
end up
Juliet.
watching the Lion King live action?
I never like stumbled upon it and wanted to even watch that in the first
Yeah,
place.
me either. I mean, of course, when I was a baby, I used to watch Lion King, but it's just lacking popularity nowadays. Like, I don't even understand why they had to make a live action for it. It just sort of didn't ruin it, but there was just not a lot of purpose.
Yeah, there was also a Mulan and Aladdin and that
Yeah,
kind
all
of
that.
thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really
Yeah.
watch all that. You see all the Disney Plus ads with all the musical advertisements. There's one
Yeah.
in particular that's out now. I get the stupid ad, this Disney Plus ad, all the time. Every video I click on is always that stupid sing-along sort of thing. Never really bothered with it.
Yeah, there was also we just sort of went on a tangent there, but like there was also Doc Martin as well.
Oh yes, Doc Martin. Yeah, actually, there was a comedy drama crossover. Because it did actually have some drama aspects of it. It wasn't actually a sitcom. It was a comedy TV show. It wasn't really a sitcom though. But yeah, it was a good British drama comedy crossover. I did thoroughly enjoy that show. I think it is deserving of A tier. The main character, what's his name? It's been about 3 years since I watched it. Doctor Attenborough or something. I don't know. Well, his alias, of course, is Doc Martin, so I'll just go by that. But yeah, the main character, Doc Martin, is very funny. Like, he's just basically a snob. He's this British snob that lives in sort of a cabin in the middle of nowhere in this random sort of town somewhere. And just the kind of things he gets himself into are just very funny. I'm surprised you haven't really watched it, because it is a British thing.
Yeah, I've not really seen it before.
It has been on TV a few times, like TV2 or whatever. TV1, I think. So,
Yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't tuned into that.
Well, one of the most like sitcoms or whatever, like in terms of Britain, is the one I've seen is like Still Game. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Well, yeah, you have talked about it to me a few times, but no, I never really bothered watching it, because I mean, I'm not British myself, but you have said that there is quite a bit of like sort of Scottish terminology in it. Is that right?
Yeah,
Scottish sort of. Is that right?
Yeah, it's like you gotta like understand the culture
Yeah.
kind of thing.
See, I don't think I would
Understand the
understand that show really.
series. Yeah, and it actually has a lot of quite vulgar puns and stuff like that in it
Yeah.
as well. But that doesn't distract from the fact that it is actually funny.
Yeah, it seems, from what I've seen, like well, not the trailer, but just clips and stuff, it does seem pretty funny.
Basically, the rundown is that it's just these old guys in Scotland, and they live in an apartment or a flat, and then they go to the bar. They go to this bar called the Clansman, and then they have a bartender, and they have friends, and they're all just old people, basically.
So you've seen quite a lot of this show, it seems.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of old people, but then there's like young kids as well in it. And then the kids just like make fun of the older generation in the series, and it's really like polarizing for like Scottish culture, because a lot of people really enjoy the series.
Yeah, well, let me ask you, have you watched, or have you even heard of Faulty Towers? The show? Faulty Towers? Rings a bell?
You mentioned to me, but I don't know if I've seen it before, or I might have heard of it, but I just
Yeah.
a lot of it.
Yeah, it's not as popular as like Still Game. I mean, I didn't really hear of Still Game until you mentioned that to me, but yeah, it is a pretty, it's not a Scottish comedy, but it is a British comedy, and gosh, I think it was made in the 60s or something, but I have watched a bit of that from when I was at my grandparents' house. They used to, well, they still do, watch a bit of Faulty Towers. It is pretty funny from what I've seen.
Yeah.
It's basically about a guy that owns a hotel by the name of Faulty Towers. It's pretty funny, and then he just gets himself into all these shenanigans with the customers, and there was this one episode where he just goes into a complete rage fit and just destroys his car. It was a pretty funny episode. I don't know how many seasons there are, like 3 I think, so not as popular as Doc Martin or anything like that, but
yeah, but there's been quite a few Scottish sitcoms. There's obviously Still Game, then there's Chewing the Fat, and then there's like Burniston as well. And
yeah, you've mentioned all that to me.
Yeah, it's all quite goofy and that kind of thing. There's also Jolly Boy John and the Lemmy Show as well, which is just like some other goofy sort of things from Scotland.
Yeah. Well, clearly you watch a bit of Scottish TV still, so that's good that you're keeping up with your originality.
Yeah, I suppose. my tradition.
Yes, keep up with your Scottish tradition, James. Don't let that get away from you.
Yeah.
Remain Scottish forever. Don't let us New Zealanders transform you.
Well, it's been about 5 years since I landed in this place, and I'm still Scottish. So
Yeah, well, you're still Scottish, but your Scottish accent, by the way, is sort of disappearing a bit. Like, I don't know if you were born that way, but like you can hear on like Scottish movies and all that they've just got way more of a bolder accent. You know, and you don't really have that sort of bold Scottish accent. I mean, you've got the Scottish accent, you can hear it, but it's just nowhere as vibrant as what you see on TV. You know, like what people make it out to be. Like some words in particular, like say the word weird.
Weird.
So you can just hear it from that, weird, and then you can say Terminator.
Terminator.
Terminator. Exterminator. Just words like that. Anything ending with ear. Well, just say the word ear.
Ear.
Ear. So just that kind of word. You can just hear it from there. But it is sort of disappearing a bit, so keep up that Scottish accent, James.
Yeah.
You know what they say, the ladies probably like that Scottish accent.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that, I don't know if that's right, but pretty sure that it has been confirmed like that it is one of the most sexiest accents in the world or something.
Where did you get that information from?
Like, it was either the Scottish accent or the New Zealand accent, but it was
Well,
like,
I heard that the New Zealand accent was. That's what Gravy Butler said to me. He actually mentioned that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So there you go.
Just a fun fact, I guess.
The war of the Scots and the New Zealanders.
Yeah, there's a lot of Scottish people in New Zealand.
There are? Well, actually, yeah, you're not wrong, because there is another, there's Maximilian, who is Scottish, who goes to our school, of course. I'm sure you've seen him. Maximilian, or just Max.
Yeah, I've seen him at school before, but there's Dundee. Not Dundee, but Dunedin. I was thinking of a place in Scotland called Dundee.
No, I don't think there is a Dundee, but yeah, I think Dunedin is a Scottish name, so.
Dundee is a place in Scotland, so I think.
Yeah, and Aberdeen, by the way, the old school I went to, is a Scottish sort of a theme. Like they've got a theme throughout the school. Like there's Scottish clans. There's Bruce, Somerled, Duncan, and what's the other one? Burns? Did I mention Burns? I think actually Burns is a Scottish poet. Is that true?
Yeah.
So yeah, there are some sort of Scottish themes throughout New Zealand. I mean, there are some street names too that are Scottish. Like there's some what's the street name? Glaswegian or something. I can't remember. Yeah. Glaswegian Street or something.
There's actually a street in New Zealand called James Street.
Obviously. Out of all the maybe not millions of street, but hundreds of thousands of street in New Zealand, there will be at least one James Street. There's probably some Bain Streets as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of British Isles influence here.
Yeah, well, we did come from the British Isles. What can you expect?
Yeah, the British invaded New Zealand.
Yeah, a lot of viewers out there watching this probably don't know too much about New Zealand history, but yeah, there is a bit of backstory. It's not the most sort of entertaining or deep history, but there is a bit of history there, so yeah. What are your demographics, by the way? What people from what countries are watching this show?
Well,
are there any Scots watching?
It seems that it's like mostly New Zealanders watching it.
Yeah, see, my channel is mostly American, and I think India for some reason is quite a large demographic of my channel. So they must have subtitles or something.
Yeah, the last time I checked it was just India, so I'd have to check again. Oh, not India.
What?
New Zealand.
Oh yeah.
You were just saying about India, and then I was thinking about India, but my top.
Are you being racist, James? Don't forget, we have an Indian friend. Remember that? Well, 2 Indian friends actually. Don't forget that, James. They're probably watching this right now, and they're gonna be very mad at you. Just kidding, obviously.
I know. Yeah, I know.
So yeah, there are some demographics out there. I mean, there's probably mostly New Zealanders watching this right now, and there probably are some quite a large American demographic watching this video in particular with the sitcoms. You know how Americans like their sitcoms?
Yeah.
Most sitcoms are American, so...
Yeah. Mostly are American.
But anyway, we went on a bit of a... What?
Tangents?
Yeah, lots of tangents. We went completely off track there. How did we go from the tier list, the sitcom tier list, to demographics?
I have no idea right now. I'm just in the moment, and yeah. But
Yeah.
I just want to but I want you to explain the origin story behind how you got into sitcoms, because that could be something interesting you could share.
I mean, there's not really that much of a origin story. I just sort of what would have been the first sitcom that I watched? Maybe actually probably The Middle. Actually, The Middle was probably maybe the first sitcom I watched, because probably about maybe 10 years ago I would have been maybe not 10 years ago, but yeah, it was probably the first sitcom I ended up watching, because it is one of those family-friendly sitcoms, and it still does hold up today. But I probably would have been about 7 when I first started watching The Middle. So yeah, that's really what... I'm not sure if it got me into sitcoms, but it's the starting point of my sitcom experience, and then it just went on from there. I went from The Middle to maybe, Parks and Recreation to Modern Family and all that, to The Office, to Doc Martin, so on.
Yeah, I think the first sitcom that I stumbled upon was Big Bang Theory. And I think there was still Game as well, I think.
Yeah.
So that was it. So bit of a mix of cultures there, I guess.
Yeah, but have you seen any clips of the Eric Andre show?
Well, you sent them to one of the Discord servers or whatever they were on.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a full episode. I've just seen clips of it.
You really need to watch at least one episode, because that's what I'm currently in the process of watching right now. That's my current well, not sitcom, but it's actually it's actually a talk show, if anything. I mean, there's Eric Andre, who's the host, but it's not like other talk shows where it's just them talking the whole time. They do have these segments in it, where he goes out in public and just pranks people, and sort of the same deal as Impractical Jokers. He just goes out in public and does these stunts and all that kind of thing. So it's actually more of that sort of public stunt sort of thing rather than actually a sitcom or what do you call it, a talk show itself, you know?
Yeah. And
but
what is your thoughts?
What?
What are your thoughts on like talk shows and stuff like that? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
I've never really been a big talk show guy. There is 24 out of, what is it, 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown or whatever it's called. I have watched a bit of that from when that was on TV. Well, it is still on TV, so whenever that's on TV, I do tune into that over any other channel. Because that can be pretty funny, because there's, what's his name that hosts it? There's, Jimmy Carr, the host. I haven't actually watched any of his dark material, that thing on Netflix. I still have to get round to watching that, but he is a good dark comedian, it seems. He does. He doesn't actually do too much of his dark material on the actual show.
Yeah.
But some of the guests he puts on the show are pretty funny, so yeah, I do tune into that.
Yeah, my family has watched it before.
Yeah, it is a pretty good show.
Yeah, there was like this one talk show for like New Zealand or whatever. It was like seven days a week or something.
Yeah, it's just called 7 Days, I think. Yeah, I've watched like one thing of that probably just from when that's on TV. It's not really the best thing. I mean, it can be funny at times, but yeah, not really my thing.
Yeah, there's this one guy that's on it that was on The Project as well. Don't know if we've talked about that before, but The Project is just like a New Zealand talk show where like they just talk about stuff and then people send in videos or whatever.
Yeah, there is quite the array of New Zealand talk shows. There's also Have You Been Paying Attention? Have you seen any of that?
Oh, that.
Yeah, I have.
Like adverts of it.
Yeah, I have seen actually quite a few, quite a bit of that now, looking back at that. It can actually be pretty funny, because they do actually go over some current affairs in the show. Like, it's sort of a crossover between a talk show, a current affairs sort of a show, and a comedy show, sort of. It's a mix-over of quite a few things. But it's good, because it does actually teach you some things about current affairs. Like, it goes over just things that's going on and crazy inventions that people have come up with and just that kind of thing. Just current affairs, and it does make it funny, which is always a good thing. Like, the guests they put on sort of make fun of it and that kind of thing. It is actually a quiz show as well. It's just quite a lot of things just mixed into one show.
Yeah, from what it seems like it's like a quiz series where they'll have a question, and they have like this thing where they hold up names and stuff from what I saw, like to see who would actually be a part of this sort of thing or whatever. Like that's what I got the gist of it. That's the gist I got from it.
Yeah.
I've not actually seen it a lot, so
I don't mind a good quiz show. Have you watched any The Chase?
Oh yeah, I think I discussed that before, but it's just like a British TV show basically
where
they have quizzes and
I have actually watched quite a bit of that. And it is another good thing, because it does actually teach you things. It's not like a current affair thing like Have You Been Paying Attention is, but it does teach you quite a few interesting things, which is always good. And the Chasers, by the way, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they store that much stuff in their brain about just the most random things. It's absolutely insane, you know?
Yeah.
There's no way I would ever be able to be on that show and beat a chaser.
Yeah. There's it's like a prize pool and that kind of thing. Cause
Yeah, it can get up to 100,000 or something, so people do make quite a good profit from that show, if you're smart enough anyway.
yeah.
Because there was a time where someone actually managed to cheat the show. It wasn't actually, it wasn't The Chase, it was some other show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire it was, but there was a guy that actually went on there, and, he had a guy in the audience that would cough for the right answer. So the guy would be on the seat answering all the questions. So there'll be a list of 4 answers, and then for whatever answer it was, the guy in the audience would cough, for example, 2 times if it was the second answer, or 4 times if it was the 4th answer. So he'll just go if it was the 4th answer, and the guy on the and he'll be able to hear the guy from the audience, and that's really how he won. Well, he did actually win $1 million by the end of the show. He literally made $1 million from a game show for cheating. But of course he did get caught in the end. But that's just really crazy that someone would be able to go on a quiz show for cheating, for not even knowing the answers. Like some random guy in the audience, well, not random, because of course he knew him, but yeah, some random guy, some guy in the audience that just did all the answers for him.
Yeah, well...
So there is a bit of lore behind quiz shows.
Yeah, I guess so.
So yeah, that's the whole talk/quiz show genre.
Yeah, even though this was supposed to be like the sitcom episode.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Eric Andre show is sort of... I mean, it's sort of a sitcom, not really. There are some sitcom aspects. I mean, it is filmed in front of a live studio audience, as a sitcom is. It is a very funny show. As I said, it would be at the S tier. Like, some of the things he goes through, sort of the same deal as Impractical Jokers. Just some of the things he goes through in the public is just absolutely insane. Like, I have no idea how he does what he does every single day. Well, not every day, but while he's recording the show, I don't know just how he does it. You know, he goes through all of that humiliation just for a show, and there's only like five seasons. 5 seasons, and get this, there's only 10 episodes in every season, and every episode is literally only 10 minutes long. Only 10 minutes for every episode. So they are very short episodes. I don't know why they made it that way, but I would encourage you to at least watch some clips of it, because yeah, it is very funny. Very funny show.
Is there any way you can watch it?
Well, this only applies to New Zealand viewers, but you can actually watch it on demand. Not sure what the deal outside of New Zealand is, but there are probably some other streaming services. Like you can probably get it on Amazon Prime or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
So that's really all my tier list has to cover, really. I mean, there's The Office UK, which is pretty good, sort of the same deal as The Office US. It's got... I don't know, I'm not going to compare the characters, because either show sort of has its ups and downs, but The Office UK didn't really have better characters. Probably better situations, though, that they're put in, better storylining. Because actually the first episode of either... by the way, The Office UK was actually made before The Office US. So that's probably a bit of a surprise to you. Did you know that?
Well, I'm pretty sure that, like, that The Office US was a spin on The Office UK, and you told
Oh,
me
so
about
you
how
did
there's
know
like,
that.
yeah, you told, and then you did tell me that Australia's going to do it as
Yes,
well.
Australia is
Apparently.
making a Office AU, so that'll be interesting to see. Let's just hope they don't
Yeah,
put too much politics into it, though, like wokeness and all that.
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised, but let's just hope that they don't ruin it with that kind of stuff, because there is quite a bit of sort of edgy sort of comedy in The Office. Well, both The Office UK and US, so that just makes it a bit
yeah,
more funnier.
yeah,
But like I was saying, both The Office US and UK both actually have the first episode is pretty much nearly the exact same storyline. Like, they didn't make it any different for the first episode. Like, The Office US literally just took the first episode from the UK and just made it into their own thing with their characters. It's just the same story. So I don't know why
yeah,
they did that. They couldn't be bothered just making their own, but yeah, they did that, so that's interesting.
yeah. It's just a bunch of people in an office and stuff like that, and it's
Pretty
like,
much.
it's kind of, yeah,
It's just
and I
an
guess
office
like
comedy, really.
it's to do with like, from what I remember, it's like got the whole corporation versus like the office kind of thing or whatever in it, or whatever it was.
Well,
Co-op
yeah, there is
something.
that aspect. It's really just the average life of a average office worker, really. And they've got a
Yeah,
crazy boss that just ruins their life, pretty much. That's the whole thing of the Office US and the UK.
yeah. And the office, to be honest, like she doesn't have like a problem with it, but like in the way it is, it's just like she doesn't want to be reminded of being in an office kind of thing.
Wait,
She has
who's
an
this?
administrator after
Who are
all,
you
but
talking about?
I'm not. I was talking
Oh,
to my mom, like she's saying that the office kind of like reminds her of an office job kind of thing because she is an administrator. So
yeah, well, I mean, it is a very office type aesthetic, the whole show, but they do make it funny. It's like not just some boring sort of show about people in an office with nothing else happening. Like, there are funny
yeah,
sort of storylines in it, you know.
yeah,
But Curb
yeah,
Your... I'm gonna go to the S tier now, and Curb Your Enthusiasm, by the way, is also very funny, because as you're aware, Larry David wrote both Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm.
yeah. I know
And
that.
George Costanza from Seinfeld is actually based off Larry David. Not, I think I have told you that before, but because Larry David actually had no intention of joining Seinfeld as an actor, because Jerry Seinfeld approached Larry David to say, hey, can you write the show? Not to act in the show, just to write for it. But I guess after I think it was season 6, Larry David left. He sort of had a bar of Seinfeld and just wanted to make his own show, not under someone else's name, Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah,
So he went off and he made Curb Your Enthusiasm, and he decided that he wanted to be the main character in the show. So he was an actor now, basically. So
yeah,
that's really what Curb Your Enthusiasm is. It's just the life of Larry David, the writer of Seinfeld, pretty much. Because they do actually mention Seinfeld quite a lot in Curb Your Enthusiasm. So it's not
yeah,
like just the life of some random guy named Larry David. Like, he is actually his character in the show. Sort of like Jerry was in Seinfeld. He was his own character. But yeah, some of
yeah,
the things that Larry David goes through in the show, he's just the most unlucky person. Like, some argue that he's also the most unlikable person. Like, he's just a very uncharming sort of a character, Larry David. But yeah,
yeah,
he's definitely not the most fortunate person, some of the stuff he goes through. You're only on like episode
Yeah.
1, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, you really need to keep up with it, man.
Yeah.
You really need to get on to at least episode 2. There are some very interesting episodes in Curb Your Enthusiasm as well, as you can see by the titles. Some very interesting episode plot lines, really. I would say probably episode 5 is where it really starts to kick off. Episode 5, season 1 is actually one of my favourite episodes of the whole season, really. Like, it's just the string of events that all lead up to the final climax, and it all sort of comes along at the end.
Yeah, well, I think we should probably get that, like, stopped recording now, because it seems that we've just, like, been talking for a while, but it's been good to have you back on the podcast. It's been like 3 months or something.
Yes, it is, since late January it was, so yeah, about 3 months, so yeah, it was good to actually talk about something that I'm interested in. I mean, I'm obviously interested in, Minecraft and my channel and all that, but it is good to have a discussion rather than a interview, because last time it was more of an interview.
Yeah, it was more of an interview.
And that's really what a podcast is. It's a discussion between, well, it doesn't always have to be two people. I mean, you are self-hosting this podcast, but yeah, it's good to have guests on occasionally, I guess.
Yeah, it's just kind of the whole point, to have occasional guests.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just cover whatever topic comes into your mind, really.
Yeah, you can definitely see that. I have covered a wide variety of topics on this podcast.
Yes, you are. Wide variety.
Very, very diverse.
And I'm glad that we covered sitcoms in a separate episode to TV shows, because you have actually made a TV show episode, is that correct?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you didn't sort of go into any sitcoms in that episode.
Yeah.
Because sitcom is really a whole different deal to TV shows.
Yeah, it's just like because I just covered, like, I did give my thoughts on, like, documentaries and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Documentaries, like game shows and all that kind of thing.
Pretty much.
So yeah, see you guys next week.
Alright, by the way, let us know in the comments if you have any ideas for future videos, because are you running out of ideas, James? Or is there plenty there? Because, I mean, anything, like I said before, anything that comes into your mind, because my channel with Minecraft is sort of a different story. Like, it takes quite a while just to come up with a solid sort of a plot for just a, idea for what will happen later on in the video, because there is a whole different story for podcasts and a Minecraft YouTube channel, really.
Yeah.
And my vlogging channel too. I mean, with the Chicken Man video in particular, that took a lot of storylining. It had to all come together,
Yeah, true.
Alright.
So yeah, that's the discussion. It's been an interesting discussion.
Yes, it definitely is.
And if you would like to, like, suggest any other guests, feel free, I suppose.
Maybe there are. I think there are a few other people out there that want to be a guest. I mean, there's Navnish, of course. There's also Phoenix, Biggie Beardy. If you want to be on the podcast again.
Yeah, maybe.
If you grow back your beard.
Yeah.
You can go by the name of Biggie Beardy.
Well, see, you just check us out on Spotify, of course, because I do upload that as well. Yeah.
Also, check out more James Rambling Show for some clips and extra sort of stuff on there.
That's it. That just does a week. Let's just end the episode now.
Yeah, alright.
Like
wait, one more thing. Let me shout out my channel. Don't forget to subscribe to TeamTMS. No space. TeamTMS. No space.
Yeah.
Everyone forgets that because they put a space in and then it just comes up with all these random channels. So no space. TeamTMS.
And he also reached 700 subscribers.
Yes, I did. So, yes, thank you to my viewers for that. Sort of a new video out now, not brand new, but yeah, just go check out that video now.
Yeah. Well,
but anyway, let's stop talking. I mean, this episode is probably over an hour long now, probably. So let's just stop talking. So yeah. Subscribe, like, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And peace out.
Bye. Bye.
Ciao.